Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Just a Little Bit More Live. Tonight we have a special couple, Jarrell and Twan. They call themselves Jertwan. You'll hear their story about how they met and to the double proposal that they did, and just some great advice that they gave to new couples. Get your cocktails, y'all. You are in for a special treat. Let's tune in to Just a Little Bit More Live.
Just a little more, just a little more, just a little more, just a little more, just a little more.
Who are we? Who are we?
We are Jortwan.
That's just like I guess it's a combination of our names. We are just your average like couple. Just we've been together for now. Going on 3 years. September would be 3 years. We were best friends for eight
years,
about 8 years,
Yeah.
and friends for about 10 years before we got together. Which some people say we kind of cheated.
To the system.
To the system a little bit, but we're just your like regular run of the mill, just people, homebodies. I'm Jarrell.
I'm Antoine.
Antoine, and
Yeah,
that's us.
that's us. 2008, I moved down to Orlando to take a job down there. I met him through a mutual friend, and we just became like homeboys. Like, hey, how you doing? Nothing more than that. We would check in with each other like once a year from like 2008, 2013. Then we both happened to move to New York, and we started hanging out closer. We have another best friend, became the Stooges. So from 2013 to 2015, we became like really, really close, always hanging out or whatever. How we found out that this might be a bae is, to be honest. So this was my best friend, and we were always ride or die. Whatever one do, we down for it. So we got dared. I got dared to kiss him. And so I was like, hey, somebody dared us to kiss on FaceTime or whatever. Let's kiss. We kissed and we were like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Felt a little, tingle in my spine a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And then so that was probably the moment where we were like, okay, this may be a little more, but we tried to ignore it. We were like, no, we're not going down that route. We remember now we're best friends, so we both know how each other is when it comes to things or whatever. So that was probably that moment. And then from like 2015 to 2018, things just kind of progressed. And yeah,
he was very trans. 2018, like we were both dating actually other people at the time. I kind of just decided or confessed that I didn't do it. And I didn't take him serious because I know him. I've known him for years. I knew him for his games and stuff like that, and I was not going to play games. That's one thing about being your best friend. You know all of the things that they get in trouble for and how they play with people. So, so I just I told him to prove it, and in time, he proved it, and it just kind of took off from there. A lot of our friends, they had already been telling us for years that we were meant to be together. And so it wasn't a surprise for anyone. It was more like, oh, about time, so forth and so on. Even his mom, I believe, like his mom had, like, we took pictures and she was like, oh, this is the real bae. Like she had claimed it. My mom had claimed it like long before.
Yeah. Like 2000, like 16, 15,
yeah, when she came from the graduation. Yeah, she had claimed it long before. So our parents and some of our friends were like very supportive and like expecting it. There are some stories about like other friends and family members that we might have lost, and that's okay. Yeah, that's okay, because we only accept good vibes. And so we grew closer with some, and some we grew further apart with, and that's okay. When we got together, it was basically like, if we do this, it is going to end here. Like, it's like there's just this understanding, one, because we had so like to actually become public that you are like dating your best friend, there's so much that comes along with that. And we wanted to make sure that it was like the real thing before any of that like came out or what have you. Like we went through quite a bit. And so we needed to make sure that the things we went through was going to be worth it.
Yeah.
And so by the time we got together and decided to actually like become official, that was a straight trajectory. Like we knew that this was going to end here. This would be the next step. Then it'll be marriage, family. Like it was an understanding that this was it.
We have been like talking. We had like long talks about it, like because as you know, we have a best friend that was also a big factor in it as well. So we knew that once we told him, like once I told him or whatever, like there was no going back, and we can't say we're gonna be together because if we break up, then we're not. What we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So we're not gonna. Where we going? We're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And we had someone else involved, so we really was like, look, if we're doing this, like this is it. Like we together forever. We always say there's no breaking up. Like we together forever.
I had started planning it because his birthday. It was on his birthday. It was at his birthday party, actually. I started planning it in September of the previous year. His birthday is January 3rd. I started planning it in September. The big birthday party that we had planned to happen did not happen. And so we decided to do a lesser one here at the house and blase, blase, blase. But I was still going forward with my proposal because I knew that's the kind of person he is. He kind of wants everyone to see what is going on. Me, I'm like, you can ask me right here in the house by ourselves. I'll be good. So I started planning it first through our best friend who we were talking about earlier. That's the third party. So I went to Aaron Mo and told him like, this is what I want to do. Help me do it. And then.
So then also, like he said, he started planning in September. So once my party wasn't going to happen, like I was like, all the thought that I was going to plan for that big old party, I could put it into my engagement ring, and this is what I want to do. So I went to Aaron also and was like, hey, I want to do this on my birthday. And he was like, I was getting frustrated because he was trying to help him and have him propose, but he was like shutting me down. He was like, don't you want to wait to Valentine's Day? I'm like, no, that's too long. I want to do it now. Like I want to do it on my birthday. And I feel like he wasn't being a supportive friend that I needed, not knowing that he was planning with him the entire time. But he was like, okay, you're going to do it this. So we really owe a lot to him because he really planned. That was all him. Like the whole night, I was thinking that I was going to ask the question first. So we had a game night. And I said, I want to ask him some way during Family Feud. They had already discussed that he was going to ask somehow during Taboo. So that night came. So I'm thinking it's just him and I planning. So I'm like, hey, all my friends are here. Like everybody said, no one else. I'm not waiting on anyone else. So let's go ahead and play Family Feud. He was like, no, we playing Taboo. I'm like, no, but it's my party. Like, I want to play Family Feud and I'm ready to ask the question. Like, my nerve is bad. Like, let's get it out of the way. I'm ready. He was like, no, we playing Taboo and walked off. And then, as you can see on the video, then boom, that happened. And I was like, wait, but then I couldn't even get my ring out of my pocket. Like he planned it so much to the T where both of our rings were in the room and he planned it. So he told Jarrell when to go get his ring out. He told me when to go get my ring out. Like neither one of us had no idea. Like it was a
That's a good one. I definitely feel there are differences. Like unfortunately, we have to like kind of be cautious of like how we act when we're out and about, because I'm very big on respect, not just respect of myself, but respect of others. And like, while I appreciate those that respect my love and things like that, I also am very careful to not force it in your face. Like you can respect me quietly and I'm not going to force you to see the things that you might not agree with. And that's okay. Like I'm all about respect both ways. And so we have to, I think that gay relationships, you have to be a bit, well, some you have to preference mainly, but you have to be like cautious of like how you are around maybe other children. Being teachers, like we're very just cautious about those things, although it is something that needs to be seen more. There are just things that we tend not to do in public, especially when people are like around.
Yeah. And I pretty much feel the exact same way. Like we both are big on respect. The image that we portray, especially in front of little ones, and with us being teachers, like you said. But it was a difference. It is a difference, I would say. And I think also, besides from heterosexual couples, people feel like you have to have this stigma. There's a man and there's a female in a relationship, but at the end of the day, we're both men. Like, so there's no labels or oh, he's going to do this or I'm going to do this because we need to divide things out. Like, we divide things equally because we're a couple. Like, there's no female, there's no more dominant one. Like, we're both equals and we both on the same thing. So I think we have to. I think like probably viewing in, like, people are probably trying to have those thoughts or whatever.
What they do.
What they do. You know what I'm saying? But we literally just like we have equal playing field.
I think that being that we were friends for so long, we understood a lot about one another, which is why we say, like, we cheated a little bit. I think that we understood a lot about one another. And so we've actually never had an argument. An argument is like, in my eyes, an argument is like where we're like yelling and fussing and doing things that aren't really conducive to like the idea of our relationship, which means we're looking to go forward together. Now we've had disagreements, like we have disagreements, but we're able to just communicate effectively and come out with understanding. I think that in relationships, you have to kind of change the idea of like proving your point, and it becomes more about understanding where one another is coming from.
On communication. And I know that going into the relationship, and he knew as well, like I said, we kind of cheated. He knew as well as a friend that was something that wasn't my biggest attribute. So he had to be patient with me, and I had to also be willing, to make those steps to grow when it came to communicating. Because as Jonathan, also, like, I don't like to talk about things like when something is bothering me, I just shut down. But that's not the way for a healthy relationship to operate. So in those moments, and I'm still learning and I'm still working at it, and thank God he's as patient as he is, and it's just
gotten a lot better.
Thank you. A lot better. And when you realize you don't have to like argue, or your partner is really there to support you in however you're feeling, like, it's a good thing. So there's no reason for it. Even if I don't even think I even get mad about something. Like, it's just like, hey,
You've been mad.
Yeah, I have been mad. Yeah, I say that. I have been. But I didn't go into it like, like, he saw that I was upset. And one thing I've learned also is to prevent those arguments, because most of the times when you're upset, you don't know what to say. So that's what kind of like escalates the situation, because you're trying to yell and your thoughts are rambling. And one thing I've learned from him is to just say, hey, something is off for me right now, but I'm not in the space to like communicate about it. So can we come back to it later? That way he knows, yes, something is wrong, but he's not ready and I'm not going to force it. Instead of me saying, no, there's nothing wrong, when he knows me, and now it's like I'm lying to him, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm offensive. Yeah, I'm insulting his intelligence. That's what he likes to say when I'm saying that nothing is wrong when there really is. So yeah, that's
it's about acknowledging the space that we're in. You have to acknowledge that something is off for it to be handled. I mean, even if you're not ready to deal with it at that current time, acknowledge that something is off. That lets the other person know, I'm not crazy. Something I might, let me get prepared for this conversation that might come, or that will come, hopefully, and go in it with a level head. That's kind of all it is to it.
Communicate, and be truthful. No matter how hard it is, it will be much worth it in the end. Just to communicate and just try to be truthful in everything that you. I know it's hard because you don't feel like you want to hurt your partner's feelings, and they may honestly be thinking the same thing or something around those lines that okay, good, we could have just talked about this and we would have been good. But so I would say communicate and just be truthful.
Yeah, I would second that. Communication is definitely key. I always say, like, you have to, like, in a relationship, you want to be connected to the person that's your best friend. And your best friend, you kind of can go to and talk to about everything. And so there really should be nothing that you would want to hide from that person. And on the flip side, if I'm going to communicate and come to you with something, then you have to make that thing that I came to you about okay. If you're communicating and you're transparent from the beginning, from the jump, like, you don't want to be want to be proactive, not reactive. Like, you want to always kind of catch it as much as you can before and just like always kind of think about like that person, like that person should be like in many, if not all, of your decisions, because if you all are trying to go forward together, then that person does have say, and like a piece in that decision. So just communicate to find ways to continuously fall in love with that person. Like you kind of just have to find new things, because truth of the matter is sometimes he gets on my nerves, especially in this pandemic, being together all the time, being in this house for as long as we were. Oh goodness.
I am aggravated. I know for a fact I am. So yeah, I get on his nerves.
I knew that going in, and so I accept that. But you have to find ways to like to rediscover each other, like on a consistent basis, because there's a cycle that happens in a relationship where you love one another and then you may not like each other for a little bit, and then you love one another and then you may not like each other for a little bit, and that's just human, right? Like you just go through that, but continue to find ways and create ways to fall in love all over again.
And I would say like, and it doesn't take much. Like do small things, like something as much as when he loves Reese's, he's now not liking them this time.
I go through cycles.
He go through cycles, or you know what I'm saying? So just to leave one like, hey, with a little note, like, hey, they enjoy this, like, and to see him smile, like that goes a long way. I think that we have it easy because we're not high maintenance people. Like it doesn't take much to like either make us smile or keep him happy. I got lucky. He's very low key. He's not big on, I don't have to like go out and buy 1,000,001 things, although I would love to do it. But that's not him. So just like small things, like, and know your partner, know what makes them smile, know what makes them happy. And that will go a long way. Like, so that's what I would say.
Yeah, I think that our favorite moments are actually like just sitting together, like here in the living room, talking, having fun, laughing. Like you don't have to do all the grand gestures and all the big things, like, because those things, they're good in the moment, but life can't possibly be filled with all of those things. And when those things are over, what little things do you have that are going to make you kind of move forward together, happy to come home, happy to eat dinner together? Because those things usually happen out and about. What do you have in your home that makes it worthwhile, that makes it like substantial?
And I would definitely say create a space that's happy, that brings happiness for the both of you. Like we love our apartment. Like we are, like we say, we are literally home bodies, and like find shows that you both like to like watch together and have like those, like, hey, on Friday night we're gonna watch RuPaul Drag Race. That's our thing. That's our show. Like, hey, that's it. And just have those moments. Like on Friday nights, we know we're gonna order pizza together. Like just small things like that, and just that kind of stuff. Like keep it spicy and keep it going for us. So, yeah.
This world that we live in now, it's kind of all about like the image that's being portrayed. I think that something that's amazing to know about our relationship is that we go through ups and downs just like everyone else. If not, like may not go through them as much, because we have extreme understanding, which is so important in anything that you do in life. Like understand the why behind what you're doing. But we're
just like, I mean, like you said, the image, whatever, but we're just like every other couple. Like now we don't have the arguments, like we said, but we do have disagreements. We do have every other struggle that any relationship go through. Like we have those same things, but we just choose to deal with it differently. But we're no different than any other couple out there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We have our ups and downs, and we bring it back together. Keep it moving.